So we are on the last week of the tour, and for everyone at home, it's been absolutely brilliant. This group, this crew, mwah, my heart's just like bursting with such appreciation for all of you guys. Hey, like, I really, really, really appreciate that we're all here together, and I hope that like massive long-term friendships have come out of this, and a beautiful community that will bond itself and stay together in some form until we all meet again. Next year, hopefully. Would you guys come again? Is that something you would do? Another trip to this to the same sort of area, a bit deeper, a bit longer. All right. So, well, Campbell and I have had a week. The last time we talked was right at the beginning of the tour.
Oh yeah, it
was. It was night 2 of the tour.
So long ago.
I know. And was it the first night? I don't remember, but either way, it was right at the beginning.
It was.
And I was
ranting and offended people.
This to set the precedent for the tour. Yeah, so that's gone off at Rumble. We did not post it on YouTube for obvious reasons, and you know, it was an out there podcast for us. Like, but what can we say? We've officially become the Christian bashing. Oh, don't say it. We might say the Antichrist. It is different. Don't mess us up with that word, but it kind of isn't. It's actually kind of exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. But but Christianity is, of course, what we're trying to get rid of. So we're the good guys. Yes, Christianity bad.
It's like a fortune cookie. Christianity bad.
It is.
But like Campbell, do you when you say that, do you extend that to a meaning religion, or do you go further than religion?
Any organised religion, I think, is just a control structure. But it's interesting that we've been talking about Christianity as the actual invaders, because we didn't know we've been invaded. Clearly, there's evil people running around trying to rule us. But you spent a week in Prague, looked at all the artwork, and the story started to appear to you that all these angels, cherubim, all this weirdness might be the story of our invasion in art, which is the advertising, the graffiti, etc. of the old world. Right?
Maybe the greatest propaganda campaign the world has ever seen. I mean, when we think we're spreading propaganda with posters, how about we just start painting every single building that ever was left over from the old realm?
Exactly.
You guys have since that talk, have spent the last week and a half going around these amazing places. Like, it's hard not to see it now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, where you look, the sort of the artwork, looking at how it's structured, the same story over and over again. And like, the reality is, for me, like, that's a big bad warning sign.
Yeah. Well,
it's a torture
journals, right? How do you get people to believe a lie? Just say it over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where, not so bad now, but they used to kill people for not, believing in God and not, doing the wrong things. They'd imprison them. Who knows what the mental asylums are for?
Always usually run by some form of the Christians, right? Orphanages, they got handed over to the Christians. All the schools got handed over to the Christians. Probably most likely the lunatic asylums were run by nuns or monks or something in between. Yeah. All those institutions. I mean, the fact that it's in our schools. Like, we learn about the round earth at the same time we learn about Christianity.
Even medicine.
Absolutely.
My mum was a nurse in the 70s and used to have a hat and little, almost look like a half nun kind of person.
That's right,
and that came from the nuns.
Yes, and then all of the education institutes. All of the private schools were always Christian. There'd always be a big chapel, part of your ritual, and joining the choir, being a choir boy.
They still are.
Blah, 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 blah. So it's super integrated. So we thought that we'd busted through the program maybe at Tartaria. And, and we'd like a lot of all the other stuff that's come behind that, which is heaps and heaps. And we're just looking around, and very occasionally something does bust through a program with me. One of the funnest ones I had last year was Jay Dreamer's talk on seafood. Have you seen that talk? Oh my God, he likened seafood to literally bugs and spiders, and they are exactly the same thing. They're just underwater.
Exactly. Family,
Same family, same body structure, fucking a gigantic version of it. Yeah, so Moreton Bay bugs are literally the same shape as, and even the land bugs and spiders, they have the white meat that seafood has.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a side note. The other thing about the church situation, which last time we talked about, was that ever since its inception on this realm, it has been literally capturing and funneling sins. It's literally been... So this is where this talk's going to lead off today.
This is an interesting point.
Yeah, it's literally been a vortex, a resonance for sin. Even when you feel like you are a really good Christian and you're going there to have a beautiful Christian experience, you're still reminded, tap on the shoulder, to do your confessions, tap on the shoulder, here's your moral lesson for the week, tap on the shoulder, have you put enough money in the... You know, like it's got this, from the very moment you step in, it's got this whole frequency around your worst actions, your worst thoughts, your sins.
Not to mention the fact that they all have little crosses with depicting a dead dude. I mean, that's what it is, right? And there's pictures and art everywhere. It's very morbid. They drink the blood, they eat the flesh, you know. And the Passion, that movie, remember that?
Yeah.
That was horrendous.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's so beautiful with showing the pain. It's like, that's...
Brutal.
It's brutal. You know, I don't know, Campbell. Like last night, I was falling asleep and I got this fucking flash of Jesus Christ with his little girl hips, with that cut under his breast, that little, like, it's in all of them, where he's speared or stabbed. Oh my God, I've literally seen it 800 times in the last week. Like, it is just like bang, 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 everywhere I go, every building, bang, 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 bang. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, talk about, like, you know, we think about subliminals and advertising. Holy shit, like, with the first subliminal, Christ on the cross, Christ on the cross, Christ on the cross, Christ on the cross. And then Christ on the cross, big fat naked babies. Christ on the cross, big fat naked babies. Christ on the cross, Christ on the cross, Christ on the cross.
And why did he die?
Yeah, why did he die, Campbell?
For our sin.
I know, the
Just
irony.
to like compound that we are all sinners, so you better go and confess.
Yeah.
Give your worst dreams, your worst imaginings to the church, so they can bring them into reality for you, right?
All right. So I mean, it, like, basically, it's just Monsters Inc., right? Yeah. That cartoon, it's Monsters Inc. It's funneling your nightmares, and it's holding them there, and it's magnifying them, and you're surrendering to them, and you're giving over your sovereignty to it, and you're folding, and you're sitting on your knees. And you're saying, I am this, I am sin. I am literally sin to the day I die, and if I don't remember that, I'm going to look up and I'm going to see the ultimate sin every single freaking time. So, okay, so all that aside, because that was last week's conversation.
Perfect, but born evil, apparently. This is the story.
That's right, apparently. The ungraspable perfect before you all were so bad. It's like that, hello, I know you guys didn't really get into the bus sing-along with this song, but it's so funny. You've got to actually listen to those lyrics again, which was, what was it called again?
I didn't fuck it up.
I didn't fuck it up. God, it was funny. I think we can play this, because most likely this will not be able to be available on YouTube.
So, yeah, so maybe at the end of this video.
No, this podcast. All right.
So the Cherubim.
No, that's not where we're starting. We are starting at, because what happened with me, this is what happened from that podcast, and us chewing on the idea of Christianity being all that, and then getting onto the idea of it being a funnel for your sin and the magnification and resonance of sin, I started to think, what are dreams?
Yes.
Yes,
okay,
all right.
yes.
So I started to think about dreaming and dreams. And what are dreams? You know, we talked last time about we're in a competition of dreams. We're in a competition of dreams.
Yep.
So what are dreams? And then I was thinking, you know, like, okay, first of all, I can't answer that yet.
These are nighttime dreams.
Nighttime dreams. So what are nighttime dreams? What is sleep? And then I thought, okay, put that aside. What I can answer are, what are memories? So I'm going to start there. So I've been taught that memories, the ones that you hold in your mind, that are memories that you can recall. So if you go back through your memories of your childhood, those memories were formed because in one moment, your 5 senses were being like triggered alongside your decision that this was pain or pleasure. Alongside the idea this was good or bad. And your senses are interacting with it. Those are what forms your memories. That's how you hold them. And then all the other stuff that doesn't do any of that with your 5 senses, you don't remember any of it. It's like when you're unconsciously driving, you don't remember fuck all about it. But if something crashed up against you, your senses would be like ping and like bang. You would have polarized that experience to good or bad. So then I started thinking, what is polarization? We have always assumed that we live in a realm of duality and polarization, yes? That's just a fact that we've worked with as a foundational cornerstone. So where did that come from, and has it always been with us? Right? So then I was thinking, Campbell,
Yes.
what is a so if that has always been, if our memories are based on polarization, that is the opposite to unification. And yet we sit here as a group, as a community, moving towards unification. Indeed, the elders always talk to me about their whole drive is unification. Uncle Lewis always says the word unity. Yep. Anyone asks them, what is ascension? What's happening? He'll say it's unity. Any white person, black person that comes together in those spaces, they know they're there for unification. So this word unity is interesting. And we, of course, should be living, because that's our natural disposition, in a unified force or a unified field. Would you not agree that we should have a unified reality around us, because our nature is unification? When Max was talking, I don't think it was Max, somewhere along the line, someone was talking about how social and we are as humans. That is unification. That's that model, that resonance of unifying with each other. So what happened there? Why don't we experience that in reality? Where did its opposite come from? Duality, polarization. Where did it come from? Why do we have it? And then Campbell. And then I had to say to the group, to Cass, to Dave and Helen, we were hanging out and say, all right, so what does polarity have to do with cherubs? Have to do with the Merkabah?
And that's what the Merkabah is. Basically, it's two inverted, well, it's the Star of David.
Have some water.
That's what it is, but
Please.
it's two inverted
Sorry.
triangles that are a right body over us.
Thank you, kind one.
Positive and a negative.
Thank you.
And yes, that has to do with the cherubim and all of these things, but that's the positive and the negative that splits us from unification.
Well,
is it the Merkabah? Is that the overlay?
Yeah, so the Merkabah obviously is a symbol, very strong symbol of the ascension language. The narrative around, well, I mean, it's not just the New Age. It has appeared in all the religious texts. It is a word that has a long history, but it has been adapted and adopted by the spiritual movement, the New Age movement, which, by the way, I think is a lot of fun. Just so everyone knows there, I denounce Christianity, but I think the New Age movement's fun. I think it's harmless and fun, and it's full of people I love. So we got this Merkabah. I don't know why it popped into my head. Just like there, Merkabah, and so it had to get discussed. And what's obvious about the Merkabah? What do you guys, if you were to read what is obvious about this symbol, what would it be? Two things that I know. What's obvious to you about it?
It's an inverted triangle and an upright triangle.
Yep.
Polarization, up, down, positive, negative.
Yes.
Drawn as blue and red a lot as well,
Yes.
which is a whole blue-red plasma shift as
Yes.
well.
Yes. So the and the other obvious thing to me is when I hear people talk about it, they talk about it as a light vehicle. Like a vehicle to go places, like the time and space defying light vehicle. That's why it's taken up in the Ascension movement. It is your light vehicle to.
Hopefully, I've got space on my.
Yes, it is counter rotating.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got a Merkabah. So, and this is a symbol, and yet we don't know how it's connected to the cherubs, except then Helen reminded us of the emerald tablets, the Thoth emerald tablets. And in the emerald tablets, it was really interesting because what it says is essentially, do not travel in straight lines. Do not travel in angles or straight lines, because that's how they track you.
Yes.
And the Merkabah is literally straight lines and angles.
That's why you change pattern.
Whereas, would you think, if you were to think of a unified field, much more in a spheric spaced shape, much more no straight lines, no angles. So, like some people would say that looks like an egg.
Yes. Are they angles or angels?
Ah, well, yes. And then, of course, we have to say the word angles and angels is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Angles and angels. Interesting. Let's go back to the cherubs. Angles and angels and angels.
Yeah.
What are cherubs, Campbell?
Cherubs, cherubim.
Cherubim.
They're a rank of angel, basically. They're the second lowest, the second down the rank. And they're fire, right? They're fire beings, and they're not particularly nice, and it's their job to keep an eye on us, right? And it's interesting because I think it was Islam. We were looking into the cherubim and the picture of that you see the Sumerians and the guys with the beards and the eagle heads and that, and they've all got the bag. Those guys.
You would know them when we show them to you. You've all seen them heaps.
They always wear watches. And then we think, why is a watch called a watch? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But all the watches are wearing watches. So that's an interesting little side note.
Definitely.
And now they're also the controllers of the construct, which is time.
Yep. And what does duality and polarity give us? Time and space. That's what it gives us, time and space. That's what the Merkabah, that's what that potentially would give us. Interesting. So when we started looking at what is the cherub and what's the root language of that, where fucking things have come from, which now taunt and haunt my dreams, don't ever buy me anything with a cherub on. I now see that akin to having Bill Gates in my lounge. What's the connection? So we started to look at the root. Now in the Bible, cherubs are described as basically 16 winged beasts with 4 animal heads and a human head somewhere, and they're like made of body parts, and they're on fire, and it's like they're intense monster-looking things.
Very
In fact,
Ezekiel's
all angels
real.
are kind of like that, because then the cherubim leads onto the seraphim, and the seraphim is like a 1,000-eyed being.
Yeah.
Like it's just like this monster thing with 1,000 eyes. I mean, Christianity is fucking trippy. Like, someone took some acid along the line here. Did they not?
They did. Well, all the depictions we see of angels look nothing like the descriptions of angels if you look
Taylor
into where they
Swift.
came from.
I'm Jesus Christ Superstar. How's that? Jesus Christ fucking Superstar.
Well, that was a trip.
Jesus honestly reminds me now as Taylor Swift is today. The good guy, the good girl, rolled out. Millions of people in love with them, millions of young people worshipping them, like the beautiful squeaky clean image, couldn't do anything wrong, the great family storyline. I think hers are like teachers and horse farmers, and his was like carpenters, and like there's parallels here to Taylor Swift and Jesus Christ Superstar. Anyway, beside the point. The point was that the seraphim are pretty ghastly looking creatures, but get this, guess what the Merkabah is in the Bible? It is the chariot of God. It is the transportation vehicle of God. The jealous God. The Lord, the jealous Lord. It is the chariot of the jealous Lord. That's what the root word of Merkabah is and came from.
And then when they describe it, it sounds like hell. It's just fire and flames and...
It's made of body parts.
Man, it's made of body parts.
It's literally
Human body
made of
parts, it
circles
says.
of body parts on fire. Just so we're like literally explaining to you the truth of what the
And
Bible
that's where
talks
the
about.
Lord sits, so he doesn't sound like the creator God really, does he?
You know how the word always pays out in Scientology? How did Christianity get away with it? That's what I want to ask, because Scientology gets really fucking trippy too. Christianity? They didn't paint any buildings, that's what Scientology did wrong. Nah, didn't get in there long enough, their view wasn't broad enough.
And it's interesting that all the cathedrals, which we, theorise were probably healing, but also probably to keep bad energy and frequencies and things away. They tell us that bells were to keep trolls away, and Christianity took them over, all of them. Took the bells out and repainted them. So that's interesting, right?
Yeah, every object of resonance that we all know about, the bells, that's a big one. The bells are a big one.
The organs.
The organs are a massive one. The filling into the canals, the polluting of the water. Water was everything. In fact, I would even have a really strong conversation that water was God.
Yeah.
Water is God.
Yeah.
That life force of pure potential. Because water holds everything, pure potential and consciousness. It transforms into everything. We only know a 3D version of the potential of water. But I reckon its potential is, of course, infinite. That to me would be the closest I know of what creator energy would be. Represented
We're
here.
told there's 4 forms, but it's actually, 1,500 or something they're up to now? Like all these, so many forms of water. And then, of course, Dr. Emoto and the structures and all the stuff, somatic stuff, it's all,
And that the whole
resonant frequency.
and the whole old world seems to be completely structured as a machine powered by and integrated into water. Like that seemed to be how the whole thing flows, like the natural circuit
grid
of the earth at the time.
Yeah, the macro grid.
Yeah.
And now we have the micro grid.
Yeah.
Which is El-Etric, right? The Elohim, the fallen angels, the whole...
Back to the Bible.
Back to the angels, all these people, right? Closed grid, closed circuit. Which they're using as, now they want us to jump into that closed circuit with VR and, zappy zap things and all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah, I know. So if we take all of that, to add to the story we were starting to build last week, that Christianity represents the story of our invaders. And if those invaders, so a few other things happened at this time, right? Unanswered questions for us. One is, what happened to all the people? There seems to be a time, and whether it's, look, one possibility is it was Photoshop trickery. Like, if they have the ability to remove vanilla, like all the skylines out of all the photos, why do we think that someone's not sitting there as the archived historians who may be 1,000 years old in a back room of reality, like dealing with the photos, editing them accordingly, producing them, and then feeding them out onto our internet? We don't know that. But for whatever reason, the photos that we have no skies. So something has actively removed those skies. Now, of course, in our linear timeline, Photoshop would be impossible. But not from our understanding of what was. Photoshop would absolutely probably be like Morgan Park back then.
Yeah.
It's probably archaic, actually. Yeah, they could probably do it with their own minds, Imagine being a graphic designer with your head.
Yeah,
so we've got the vanilla skies. So we've got the population problem. Where did all the people go? So there's like a cut, isn't there? We take it just from what's obvious, the photos. There's a cut in the timeline where suddenly we've got all empty cities and Mariver and empty cities. And then after that timeline cut, we start to see the reintroduction of people into the photos. They seem to come in mass, like on boats. They seem to arrive. They don't seem to just like emerge from their houses. All the photos seem to show them arriving on ports or off trains, or suddenly they're all just standing around like this. And they've all got like the same outfit on. They're all dressed identically, but they're all like this. You get that sense, right, that there's like a dazed and confusion going on. Kind of like...
no kids.
And no kids,
Or
that's
adults.
right. And no kids. And like, yeah. So, I mean, like, if you were to walking, I mean, it just fits the narrative, doesn't it? If you walk out of some sort of cloning situation or some sort of reset of the mind wipe or whatever, you would kind of look like that when you got out into the sun again or dressed up and not have a clue where you are. They don't feel like they know their cities. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah.
Like they're tourists.
Yeah.
In these cities, they don't feel like they're part of the culture that would have built on... We've been travelling. We can see the cultures of the places we're travelling. There's a look to the feel and the place of the clothes, the food, the people, the shape of the bodies. You can see it now. You would think if nothing had actually happened, you'd see it then. But that's you could look at Russia with their people coming out and America with their people out, and they're all dressed the same. And then, of course, we start to see the introduction of the orphans and the children in the orphan trains, right? Suddenly the children are reintroduced, and then the baby incubators.
Yeah.
So we've literally got this timeline of a scale down of what it is to be the human model.
And we also have in there the World's Fairs.
Yeah.
And we know the World's Fairs now, apart from introducing lots of products and foods and that, they were training people. This is your world. This is a native of Africa. This is a native India. This is your technology. This is this. This is
Your Vegemite,
right?
Australia.
There you go. Welcome to your new world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vegemite, Australia. Everything.
Yeah.
Oats came from them.
They did.
Everything.
They never stopped.
Cornflakes.
I mean, I went to the expo. I went to Expo 88.
88 in Brisbane.
They were still going.
Yeah, man. No, they just trade expos now, but it's the same concept.
It's the same concept.
Yeah.
So we've got these two edits in the timeline. One of the missing people and one of the vanilla skies. So all right, let's go on a theory. Let's go on an imagining here. What if the reintroduction of humans onto the realm came with an implant of a Merkabah? And that Merkabah instantly gave us duality and polarity. And it disturbed, distorted, and interfered with our unified field. But more so, I started to think, how and why do we dream? And why is it that we dream so crazily? Like, what is it? And I don't remember which one of you said to me, someone just randomly said to me, it's weird because you just always walk into a dream. You're always just in a dream. There's no build up, there's no beginning, dream and end. It's like suddenly you're just like conscious, you're fighting dragons in the scene of a dream and like you're doing all this shit and then suddenly like, it's over. And you're just somewhere else. Like it's like you step into a disturbed TV frequency. Like it's like they can't quite get the reception for more than 2 seconds. Like interference of your dreaming. Now imagine if the dreaming is your literal dreaming. That when you are dreaming those beautiful dreams, they would be what determines the state of reality. But the Merkabah interferes with your dreaming. Distorts it, confuses it, frequency, chaos in there. And you can't dream. Now imagine if therefore it has been the main block to the dream, our dream being the dominant dream. A literal dream disturber. Dream fucker-upper. A dream fucker. Imagine if the Merkabah is a dream fucker. Why do we sleep? Do we sleep so that that Merkabah fucker can actually like charge itself? When we sleep, are we charging them? Because if they are like, if a Merkabah is the observer us, tracking us, and it's like disturbing or interfering with it, maybe we didn't even know nightmares before now. Maybe nightmares are a combination of this disturbance.
This guy's filming you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the case. Like, go with the theory here. It's a concept we can chew on. So therefore, because it seems to reason that in the old realm, what we've studied, there wasn't really, they didn't take into account for basic human needs in these buildings. Bedrooms, kitchens and bathrooms weren't taken account for. So we've always thought to ourselves, well, they must have been, you know, like more advanced enough, maybe breatharians, maybe they were feeding off the, you know, the natural, like life force energy of the realm, the harmonies.
Yeah.
Maybe the harmonies fed them.
Maybe the buildings weren't for people.
Maybe they didn't need to sleep. And then,
they
yes.
were machines.
Yeah, maybe the buildings are all machines who were never meant to be inhabited. Let's go back to Vanilla Skies. Maybe they all lived in airships in the sky.
But I mean, also, how did they build all this stuff? Right? That's the biggest question with Tartaria. How did they build all this stuff? And there are lots of creation stories that talk about, especially the originals in Australia, that the world was dreamt into existence. So that's what Kelly was saying. Every night, did we used to literally dream the next day?
Our unified fields, the unification of humanity, the heart-based dream, did we literally dream it every night? Was that how reality was formed and shaped in our image? Is that when they say you are the creator gods, you are the Lord gods of your being, are you literally in charge of the dreaming? Now we dream at night. I don't know if we would sleep without interference. I don't know if the sleeping process is some part of the invasion. But let's say it's not, because we do it now. But we also all dream. So this is interesting to me. So when we talk about the positively charged realm, or us moving towards this apex moment where we're going to flip over to a positively charged experience on this realm, and that those who are already naturally, organically, positively charged in their soul, that they will initially and instantly become charged. And they will rise to become supercharged, and they will become those in charge. Like, if that is true, is it maybe, and you guys, would you all agree that when you came into this realm, something in you, no matter who you are or your circumstance, something in you felt different. Something in you felt different from everything else and everyone else. Something in you felt like you had a purpose and a mission and a reason for being here. And you spent the majority of your life trying to figure out what the fuck that is. But you know something in you is different. Is it that you have a much more active, unified field? That your unified field is starting to overtake the Merkabah field, the invading field. That your unified field is starting to come through and like reignite and take charge once again of the dream. Have a chew on that for a second. I mean, it's a really interesting concept.
You know, in computers, Kelly, they have hardware, which is the box. They've got software, which is the programming. And in the computer industry now, they're talking about wetware. Hardware, software, wetware, and we're the wetware. This is a true thing going on.
The biological vehicle.
Mer is water,
That's
and then
exactly
the
right.
car and the bar are
So
the
that
opposite polarities,
made
and
me think about
Merkabah. So it's interesting that it all kind of fits in there, isn't it? And it's like who's seen Dark City, where every night people go to sleep, but there's someone else dreaming for them, right? And they literally change all the cities, they change people's positions and everything. Is that, they're showing us that that's the overlay. Oh, that's supposed to be us, dreaming our dreams to create, you know, this expansive, you know, experience. But that's been co-opted, that's the overlay. And so now we can't quite tune in, right? Because obviously our consciousness isn't in our mind. We're receivers, right? We're receiving our consciousness. So if we're off tune, we're not quite tuned in, interesting language, right? Then we're getting the wrong message. We're creating the wrong thing. Has someone done that?
Something's interfering with the signal.
Put a thing in there, just turns the dial a little bit. Because dreams are weird, right? Dreams are weird.
Mine are excellent. Just to be clear, it's true.
So,
But they're weird.
That's it.
So okay, so this is interesting, right? So if we were to look at this theory being true, then one would assume that the interfering Merkabah would then be the one with the dominant dream. Because it's basically capturing all of our fucking confused, chaotic, stressful, nightmarish, like all of the dreams that we have now, apart from the sublime ones, which I know you all have, but the majority of it's like admin dreams, you know, like grind your teeth dreams. It's like nightmares, it's stress dreams.
Come from? They're weird, right? But like we talked about before, the church is collecting those
Falling
nightmares,
dreams.
right? When you go and confess,
Running dreams.
they're collecting them.
Being chased dreams.
And then are they putting them back into the system?
Having
right?
sex with weird people dreams.
Very churchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, these are just all this sort of like dream type, being bitten by a snake while you're having sex with some weird person that you don't know. It's like, you don't even, and there's an apple tree there. Like, but isn't it interesting then? If this theory was right, then our dreaming, the organic, positively charged dreaming has been interfered with. And fuck, we're powerful motherfuckers. So in order to like keep this consciousness of this split, polarized, dualized, chaotic, depressing, demonic reality of ours, dream around us, like they would literally have to do something very dramatic to keep us from naturally overriding it. Because we are that powerful. So it's a big thing, right? Now, what would be the perfect end result of this interference if we were to put it into a vision of absolute representing the most polarized duality? What would be the biggest dream that could take over the world of utter polarization, total division, lack of unification, and let's chuck the feminine out to be as extreme as possible? What would that dream look like?
Reality.
Christianity? Christian fucking-anity. That is what that dream would look like to me. It would be the most polarized. We would have hell, man. And we'll have heaven, baby. And we'll have Jesus Christ Superstar. And we'll have fucking Lucifer. And we'll have demons in the eternal abyss of suffering, which you can never get out of. And then we'll have heaven, where you float around with all these weird monster angels. And give up your soul to a jealous fucking God. And that's duality to its max. And there's no middle ground. There's no I love my wife, I love my husband, I'm a good person, that's enough, I'm kind,
I'm not going to go to church.
I'm a nice person, I look after animals. There's none of that shit, man. No. You're over here, because even when you think you're over here, they're no, you're still sinning, baby. You get the fuck over here, man. You are never going to not be a sinner.
No.
What are you doing in this heaven space?
You're born there.
Get out of my world, man. I'm a jealous Lord. Get back to your space of eternal suffering and hell. And I don't know, I can't speak for any of the other religions, right? Because I haven't studied them. But I'm just assuming they're just some other version of this. There's some other version of this. Total, dualistic polarization and literally a friggin' nightmare. Made up potentially by the collective interference into the organic dreaming. And in order to do that, we must have had something really fucking big happen to us. Could it have been a Merkabah implant? Could it, and when I say implant, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. Could it be that we all have something in us? Could it be that we have like interference more on a, you know, a higher astral? I don't know. I don't know how it works. But from where we started talking about cherubs and the Merkabah, this is where we landed. So for me, it makes a hell of a lot of sense that for any one of you to be stopped as the natural organic creators of this realm in all of your fucking magnificence, already unified, may I just add. You're already unified. You all agree hurting animals is a fucking bad thing to do. The animal kingdom, as a result of us, is fucked up. And it's horrible, and we hate it. That's the only type of documentaries I can't watch. I watch them all. When it comes to animals, they break my freaking heart. And it seems insufferable and way too unsolvable. That is a nightmare to be in for the human race, because we are unified with the animal kingdom. We love animals with all our heart. It is natural to us. It's always been that way. No one would dispute that. We love nature. We appreciate the divinity of this earth. It has always been that way. Nothing will ever interfere with that. That is our unified truth. We don't want to poison ourselves or each other with food grown in poison. That is a unified truth. Yes? What else, Campbell?
Water.
Water. We love, that beautiful aqua, clear, gorgeous river we saw the other day. Where were we?
River Tara.
Oh my God. The vibrancy out of that river. We want that in all our waters. Once again, yes? That we're unified with that. In fact, it is only dumb shit that we're not unified in. Naturally, organically, the human race is unified. And that is our collective dreaming. Now imagine when that unification is allowed to dream again. Do you think that this world would change like that? Is any of you going to dream of religion? Any one of you going to dream of like, let's make up some torturous... Let's make up a government. Let's dream of a government.
Jails and
I know.
police.
Let's dream of admin. Middle management. Let's dream of fines. Let's dream of fines. Let's fine everyone for having a mobile phone in the car for the rest of their life.
Yes.
You know, let's dream up taxes. You're quite right.
Taxes.
Let's dream
Licenses. Let's charge people to drive their car on the road.
and let's dream up lots and lots and lots of rules. Let's dream up lots of rules. I mean, we like dreams. I fucking love rules, man.
Love them.
Yeah.
Love them.
Let's dream up a few, you know, like blood-sucking demons to come and destroy our children.
Sin.
Like, would we ever dream that? No. Would we dream harm to any other human being? No. We fucking wouldn't. It's not in our nature. But in your dreams, when we are interfered with by something, and you can't get a clear dream out, at the same time during the day, you're dreaming, and so many of us all over the world will go to bed just after watching some horrible Netflix show, you know, full of all of this disgusting shit. Do you think that our dreams are coming out good and well and clear and pure right now? But do you think if none of that was there, they would just be like... Like, can you just imagine that for a second? Imagine every one of us around the world having the clarity and the freedom and the clearness of mind, no interference, to dream true to our dreams.
Yeah. And they've destroyed imagination, right? The daydreaming, not daydreaming. That is a daydreamer, he's stupid, right? Literally, that's what they say. So they're actively like suppressing our own dreams anyway, and making us think they're stupid. They're not worth it, right? Just like anything outside of the realm, like, you know, this pyramid, Wikipedia says it's pseudo-science, but when you're here, you can feel that there's something going on here, right? Yeah. But all this stuff we're not supposed to believe in, all this stuff that will enhance us, it will enhance our dreaming, our health, all this stuff, it's not allowed. But if you want to confess your sins and how bad you are and all the wicked thoughts you have, they want to hear it.
Oh yeah, baby, they want to hear it. Oh my God, they'll pay $1 million for that script. The more disgusting you can dream, the more money you'll make on this realm. Mm-hmm. The more disgusting you act, the more successful you be. The more pain and suffering you cause, the more you'll ride in leadership. The worst country, the worst human rights will be the winner of the game. Like, that's not us. That's not us, people. But, like, do you not, at this moment in time, feel like this may be changing? Like, do you feel the energy inside yourself is getting stronger? Do you guys feel that? I definitely feel that we are starting to feel charged. I feel like there's something afoot inside our souls. I feel like there's a lightness of being. I know. And actually, Campbell, you told me that funny. So we were talking about when you die and your soul leaves the body. And I always thought when your soul leaves the body, your body gets 17 grams, like 17 grams lighter. That's what I thought. But he corrected me, and this is good. Tell them, because I didn't know this.
So when you die, there's many people at the point of death, when you die, your body gets 17 grams heavier.
Oh, because
the light the light is light.
So light is literal. It's literally the lightness in you. Like literally the weight of lightness.
The lightness of being.
It's the air balloonness in you. It leaves, so your body gets heavier. I didn't fucking know that. You come out with some good gems, mate.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for.
So, alright, so we've got a concept here. That the human dreaming is starting to change again. Because I know everyone I speak to is starting to feel charged. I know it. You can feel it. I know you can feel it. There's just a shift that's happening. You don't need to make any sense of it, but it's starting to happen. Now, I'll be interested over the next the next year, how your dreams change. Not your busy daydreams, but your dreams.
My phone dreams.
Like if you start to feel this unified field emerging out of you and overriding this Merkabah, which is what I think is going to happen. And I think that Merkabah energy is like starting to get very, like, hardly be out. I feel like it's like this, can't contain us. Like it's really starting to freak out and get stressed. Like it's something, and soon we're just going to be like, boom, and we're just like burst out, and it'll be all over. And Jesus will not be there to greet us. He'll be like, you're so bright, get it away.
Well, it looks like at the moment, right?
You, I turned you into a pumpkin.
Looks like we're losing the frequency. Look around. We're in clown world.
Yeah.
All this weird stuff's going on. What is that? Is the frequency changing from where they've been trying to hold us to, clown world, and then hopefully we'll tune into something different. I think we're in that transitional state. And it's all good.
It's all good. It feels all good.
But it is all dreaming, I think. Well, I think we are the dreamers, and that's how you create. So we just got to dream better dreams. And someone was telling me, who was it was telling me? Someone, before you do go to sleep and dream, you should always put a ring of protection around you.
I can't commit to such things. I can't commit, Maggie.
I'm
your worst client. I'm your worst client. I can't commit to
give
that.
Give it a go. See what
I'm
helps,
too stoned
right?
to think to protect myself.
Put myself out there. I want all the experiences.
Passes for protection and dreaming power.
No, but can I just tell you guys some stories?
Magical passes, movement, Toltec Indian.
Cool.
Dreaming.
Magical what?
Magical passes, movement, language, Toltec Indians. Performance of dreaming power.
What does that mean? You have to say a word.
You do the movement.
Oh, it's a movement.
You're cleaning your cocoon, you're washing away.
Oh my God. I would less commit to that than protection. I'm a fucking lazy human being. I have to be honest. Campbell would do it though.
There's a beauty in it, even for
I know.
those that are reluctant.
Oh God, I would love to watch it.
I'm for that one.
Oh, May, I would love to watch the whole human race before they go to bed, the positive charge on, do the movements. I just think that would be just beautiful.
It could be fun, like the knives.
So you just make them up.
You can create your own.
Yeah, I mean, I could bring an alarm on.
You could do
Would I do that?
Swing backwards.
No, it's totally true. Like, absolutely. But like, I wanted to tell you a few stories that is why I think about dreams a lot. So I love my dreams. And one of the things about my experience in this realm is that I've had a lot of beautiful dreams. And they feel like literally where I wake up in a dream where I am being kissed on the cheek by an animal, by a giant animal. A giant platypus is in the water with me, hugging me, and it's kicking me on my cheek, and I wake up and I'm flushed with unconditional love. And this has happened so many times with animals of all types, including unknown animals. There was this very beautiful, tall, silvered animal that was high with his big long legs and big long nose, and I wake up and it was just like this thing on my cheek, And like, to me, that's a dream that is symbolic of a unified field. See, I feel like something about my unified field has come through my dreams. So I can feel the difference. I know that there are dreams that we have that are, and pure is not the right word, but that are grounded. These dreams I have, I wake up flushed with unconditional love. I wake up flushed with compassion. Like those tones to wake up to feels like that's the unified field coming through and overriding the interference. I've had beautiful dreams where I've had dreams where I've died in my dreams. I've had 3 dreams where I've died in my dreams, where I've been shot in the head and woken up and then woken back up into my new reality. I've had these experiences and those are deeply moving. I've had dreams where I've received sermons on gigantic rocks, surrounded by this torrent of an ocean, surrounded by all sorts of beings, elves and dwarfs and, beings and creatures of all sorts of imaginations. And we're all there receiving a teaching from a master teacher. I've had dreams where I'm flushed waking up with that. That feels to me like the unified field coming through the interference. Yep. So I think our dreamings, and I would love to put it out to all of you guys and to our crew here, to notice your dreams this whole next year. See if you're feeling that energetic, that tonality, the unified field starting to make itself known, starting to override the interference, starting to experience the dreaming again. I mean, it's a nice idea, right? Mm-hmm. This is a nice theory. What do you guys think so far? Water? Kind people? No, don't use all your water. We'll share it around. Then I have all your DNA. So that's it. That's where we got to this week.
That's where we got to, yeah, pretty much.
And it just blew us in mind that the Merkabah was the chariot of God. That was it. That was the sign we needed to follow this pathway through. Yeah. The Merkabah is, and then several of you, as I've mentioned this briefly, have brought up God-Man's videos.
Oh, God-Man's blasphemy.
Creator Earthman. By the way, if you're watching this, I really fucking hope you are, because we love your work and you have an amazing, amazing brain. But everyone calls you the God-Man because they don't know how to say your YouTube name. What is it again?
God from Mass Day, I think. I don't know if that's pronounced right, but it's
Does anyone know exactly how to pronounce the station?
No,
I know it. All right, so God's Man.
God's Man.
Ages ago, came out with a series of video about the Merkabah.
The bar and the car and the bar.
Which I saw, but I wasn't thinking about any of this, so I didn't go into any conversation of mine. But yeah, if you want to do a bit more of a deep dive in the Merkabah, I think you're going to really have fun to see where its origins are.
Yeah, he's on Rumble. He's no longer on YouTube, I don't think.
So, in summary,
yes, we've been invaded
by the worst nightmare dream of that invasion is representing Christianity.
Yeah.
And I supersede that from all the religions.
Yeah.
I think it's the big one.
Yeah.
And that's a collection of interference. That's a collection of the suppression of our true dreams.
Yeah. So everyone says we dream reality, so that's been hijacked, and they've basically got all our worst imaginations through confession, put that back into the system. So now we have nightmares and we have all this stuff. So even if we're dreaming and it does come true, it's crap. Right? It's the world that is around us, right?
Their dream.
Echoes their dream, which is not our dream because they can't dream.
Yeah. And the cherub are the angels that are the watchers that operate on a tracking device made up of straight lines and angles, which is the Merkabah, which operates from duality and polarity, which then interferes with how we perceive memory and perceive reality. And from the very moment of our very first memories on this realm, we're polarized. The end.
The end.
It's all right. No, that really is the end.